future looking towards that live finals. We're going to be moving on to the second match here of the day, which is going to be between Excel Wizards and Entropy. What are your first thoughts knowing these two teams going up against each other?
Yeah, this one's going to be pretty interesting. I have a couple question marks for Entropy, and I really want to see how they're going to address them. Last week, we saw them have a little bit of a hero pool issue. Of course, the hero played Jade, and there were some times where it looked okay, but Jade overall as a character looks awful in this meta. I'll go out and say it as a Jade main. I don't think she's any good. So there's a lot of pressure on the hero to adjust and play have different characters in his back pocket, and I'm interested to see what he brings to the table. And Excel Wizards, I'm excited to see what Skywin's gonna play. He's been known as a player that switches up comps very often, switches up heroes very often. He played Shifu before. He's been playing Freya lately. I want to see if he's gonna stick with that Freya, or maybe switch to a more flavor of the month pick like Thorn. So the biggest question mark for me in this match is what heroes are each team going to bring to the table?
And that's something that I want to kind of raise as a question. You know, I think a lot of people at home probably even have that same question for themselves going is like, should I learn to be able to play a lot of characters pretty good, or should, you know, or should I learn very few to like be able to master them and kind of hone in on them? Or is it just you go, nope, this is my hero. This is, for instance, you know, for Findable Carpet, it's the Bako. You know, you stick to the Bako and that is going to be your homestay. What is the best approach? Because I personally, I appreciate that kind of light adjustment that we kind of see from Skywin, sticking with more flavor of the month or more meta, if you will, and kind of shifting around that than it is to, again, be that here is my hero and that is all I play.
Absolutely. As an ex-competitive player, that one tricked. I only played Jade, and I would say up to about a year ago, it worked. You could just play one character, but with the amount of versatility these players are now having, they can play so many different things, and with a game where there's so many different counters and things you have to look out for, I don't think it's viable anymore to just play one hero. You can't just do that. You're going to have to need answers. If you're going to pick Jade, you're going to just let your enemies have that free older pick. You can't just have that. It's too unfavorable.
And here it is, the draft going to unfold here between Excel Wizards and Entropy. Kicking it off, Excel Wizards going to stick with an Esmo and Alicia there from Entropy.
Yeah, so Excel Wizards pretty much defined by their Esmo play. Dewizzle, a very aggressive Esmo. It's interesting watching this team play because Dewizzle generally plays more of the melee character in the range role than Skywin does in the melee role. So Dewizzle's going to play very aggressively, get up in there, try to force outs, and then open up Skywin's aggression afterwards. I really like the Alicia pick from Entropy, the hero. I've been playing some duo queue with him, and I've seen him on the Alicia. I think he's pretty good at the character, and with that Thorn, I think Alicia has a lot of really strong setup. Good starter.
I feel like those two, when I look at them kind of set up on the same squad, beyond the fact that, you know, they can set up one another for any kind of synergies with the Wombo combos, but it's just, when I think of Alicia, and I think consistent crowd control. It's soft crowd control, but when I think of Thorn, it's just consistent, hard crowd control. So having those two together is going to be very difficult. I mean, iframes have to be used perfectly here with the composition that Excel Wizards is going to lock in here, but we find another iframe there on an Uldur as the last pick, and the response of a Pestilus, one of my favorite characters to be able to see selected. Really excited to see that.
All right, and this isn't just any Pestilus. This is Inflamed Pestilus, one of the North American Pestilus specialists. God, that's a hard thing to say. Pestilus specialists.
Pestilus specialists.
That's a tongue twister there. But yeah, Inflamed, very good at this character, alongside Wildebeest, the two best Pestilus in the BPL. So it'll be very interesting to see how this goes for him. We haven't seen a lot of Pestilus play recently. It's a little bit of a question mark for Excel Wizards. This Uldur pick, Uldur is turning into kind of a flavor of the month healer, but without a character with a lot of self-sustain, I'm kind of concerned for the amount of healing that Uldur can put out. Of course, it works with Youngsung because they have double healer, but in a vacuum, Uldur can't do that much burst healing. His RMB only heals for 12 with that 6 over time, but it takes so long to come out.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree. It's going to be, it makes Excel Wizards have to be extremely proactive in the damage department, or at least it feels like an orb control. Because if we start looking at later minutes of this game, it is going to be a very difficult time. And one thing that I also appreciate on the composition that we see out of Entropy is I love entangling roots into Double Fear on Pestilus. It is one of my favorite combos that exists in the entire game because it's so easy to set up a positioning where here's the first bounce on my fear, here's the second bounce on my fear, and complete control here. So we'll see if it ends up coming out there. But much like, you know, you were saying the kind of Pestilus specialist, the panic mechanic that he introduces that we got last weekend, it's cool to see that unfold here again today.
Yeah, Dewizzle's Battlerite build here looking very interesting, going for a very M1 heavy build. He's going to be looking to shackle the hero on the Alicia, or Trees have leaves, who I'm just going to be calling Trees, on the Thorn. And he's going to look for those empowered M1s, of course. The Esmo Battlerite, when you shackle somebody, when you use your E and lock them down, you get an extended range on your M1 and you deal 2 more damage, which means your M1s are going to be dealing 10 damage, which adds up very quickly.
Yeah, especially considering, you know, that quick attack speed that we see out of that Esmo. Nice little kind of bursts coming in. So we get ready here for the second match of the day.
What a pretty map.
It is a beautiful, beautiful map.
3, 2, 1, fight.
Gotta love those dragons. Here it is. What is the biggest thing other than the fact that now we have the hero, you know, on that Alicia? That's got to be something I'm keeping my eye on. But is there any other player here that stands out in this match that, you know, anybody at home not know these teams so well? What are you looking out for?
Watch Niwa. See if Niwa is able to negate the healing from Inflamed and the burst damage potential from the Pestilence with that Chrono Flux and secure the orb. He's not able to on the first orb of the match, which is pretty big for Entropy.
Skywin. Able to move up, bullied around a little bit here onto the front line. Huge trade there onto Trees, falling now below 50% in true health department. Gonna need a shield there from the hero, but right now, the members of Entropy falling pretty low. Spacebar gonna be dropped, orb up, but control going to Excel. Yeah,
nice M1 from Niwa, able to secure it, and down bottom, a big ultimate. The Ice Block is gonna be the immediate response to the hero trying to heal up a little bit, but man, this pressure is absolutely massive. And now the older ultimate gonna get dropped. The Alicia is in so much trouble.
Yeah, Skywin, great job using that E, able to dodge the pole attempt there to buy a little bit of peel for the squad. Barbed Husk gonna drop. We see the Scarab coming out here from Pestilence. But for now, here is just whether or not the members of Entropy can recover here as they're falling so very low. Burrow used just to buy a bit of time. Ultimate dropped, but again, it's just stalling the inaugural. Oh my! Wait a minute there. DeWizzle getting out a little bit too far. The pole and reel in, and they 100-0.
Yeah, huge burst of damage. A lot of people were questioning Tree's play last week, but he's coming in this week swinging. A huge Dead Root's going to secure the kill on DeWizzle, but they don't get and they do get this next orb. Entropy up 3-1, and man, they had no business in this round.
I was counting them out. Yeah. That was me closing out this round. And then Tree says nope. And you know, this tree is on fire, man. And I know normally that's not a compliment for trees, but my goodness, ripping it up right now.
Man, someone throw an ice block on that man. He's on fire.
Alicia, help. Where are you when we need you?
The orb is going to be secured by Entropy too. That's pretty good.
Entropy here. Still sitting pretty low when looking at the HP, but overall having a third, you know, the third member is going to be a nice touch there. Alicia dropping the ult, Skywind under a bit of pressure. A lot of ults being traded back and forth between the two teams. But when it's all said and done, it's about this orb. Gonna get pulled back by Trees. Another orb here for Entropy.
Yeah, Entropy looking pretty good in this round. They'll have to mess up very badly if they're gonna lose this one. The Freya ultimate is available, so there is some burst potential out of Excel Wizards, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough to kill any of these heroes, especially with the burst healing that Pestilence provides.
Niwa now without a spacebar, likely going to be the fun punishment focus. We see the freezing cone kind of go down. Thunderstorm is going to slap the members here of Entropy. It's only a matter of time as Niwa is just kiting around. WASDing as best as he can. And Entropy take round one.
Yeah, really good look from Entropy. A sick punish onto DeWizzle, helping them secure that round. And man, like you mentioned, I was kind of counting him out of that round. They had no business there, but we see the weakness that I alluded to in the older pick during the draft. He doesn't have very much burst healing or a big save capability if there's no ultimate available. And without that healing, DeWizzle just kind of got ruined.
And I mean, just when I think of Asmo as a whole, just immediate, like if I was to give, like, relate to an insect, he is a mosquito. The dude is just constantly just buzzing around, being the most annoying little thing in the world.
Yeah.
So when I am a Thorn, I don't go, yeah, that is going to be the easy ultimate target to get 100-0. Like the fact that they were able to find him without those type of cooldowns, and as you said, the weakness of the supporting there that Niwa provides on that Eldor, it was just amazing punishment. It's just one of those things where I go, if you ask me, would Thorn be able to do that? I'd be like, 0% chance you find the mosquito locked in one place. But great job here coming out from Entropy, and it's why they find themselves not only winning the first round, but the first orb.
Yeah, Tree's starting off with a really nice entangling roots, allowing his team to get the orb. A great start, but as I say that, I kind of jinx him. Hit him with a little bit of that caster's curse as the tree kind of gets burned down a little bit.
Yeah, DeWizzle able to play a bit more patient than we saw of the last round, but this is what we saw. Starting, you know, where the members of Entropy fall behind and they were able to get the punishment. Entangling roots going to land there, but the control going over to, I believe that was Excel Wizards able to snipe that one for themselves.
Yes, they do get that orb. The Pestilence ultimate going to heal up his allies a little bit. The HP pool, not as different as you would think. Trees, of course, getting a little low. He picks up some green shards, which help him out a little bit, give him that 12 recovery HP.
Burrow drop there from Trees. Orb coming back online in another second. Here it is. Entangling root connect. The pull back. Ult even used to secure it here. Entropy claim one for themselves and a bit of damage there onto Skywind.
I like that. Sometimes you got to burn some energy in order to get some HP. Skywind getting pulled in. The Entangling Root's going to come out too. A nice little bit of damage onto the Esmo, forcing him to use his space. And we're at a little bit of a standoff here. Niwa positioning so aggressively though.
Yeah, and it just feels like mainly because I feel like this is Alicia typically is a hero that needs somebody in front of her to get that damage out, but already Trees is so low. They end up dropping the ult there. A double ult as they get the punishment onto Uldur, struggling with that healing. Now Skywind off in an island there, drops the counter, able to hit the E buy a bit of time. Uldur out, and he ends up surviving, at least for now.
Oh, Tree's getting a little greedy here, going in, trying to find a little bit of damage onto Skywind, but he doesn't take too much damage. As I say that, he gets burst down a little bit here, but the Burrow's finally available, and they get the orb.
Entropy 4-1 when looking at the orbs here. Still a pretty significant advantage, now especially after that pull on to Niwa. Burrow drop there, burns the space bar. Queen's not going to connect for that panic, but that is a huge trade now for Entropy. And it feels like it's the breaking point here. Unless Excel Wizards is able to claim this orb for themselves, might be all she wrote.
Niwa constantly on 0 healing charges, simply can't keep his team alive. They finally get up to their recovery. The Pestilence ultimate is going to try to negate some of that though. Oh, a nice freeze there onto Skywind and the ultimate. The Older does have the ultimate available though, and DeWizzle going to go down bottom.
Yeah, a lot of fireworks here back and forth between the two. They end up getting the lockdown onto Alicia, but with that fear set up by Pestilence and Inflamed, able to lock down the other kill. Skywind though, he's not giving up easy. Able to claim himself one.
I've seen some Skywind 1v2s on Reddit, but I'm not sure if this is going to be one of those. He almost finds the kill on Inflamed, but he gets caught out in that sudden death with the Entangling Roots. And man, Dreadnought, I feel like we're watching some European Battlerite right now. This game going so long into the sudden death, and Entropy finding these huge ultimate combos. It honestly just feels like they're taking a page out of EU's book.
Where it's just that, a bit slower play, less, bring the fight, that North American teams, not only in Battlerite, it feels like in a lot of esports, love to bring those kind of skirmishes. We are offensive here, but these teams a bit more controlled, I think is probably the way to approach that here. I would feel like in a controlled composition, though, Entropy's far and above holds up, right? Again, the Uldur trade-off mixed with that Alicia, mixed with the Thorn and the self-sustain that I feel like all of those have in the long run, unless DeWizzle is able to control the orb there on the Esmo, I feel like compositionally, I fall in favor of Entropy, so I feel like Excel Wizards has to find a way to bring that fight earlier, step up that momentum.
Absolutely, and we're seeing it reflect in the round score. Your analysis on point. Some freeze being applied to Skywind, not letting him run around as he wants to. Excel Wizards, they get that first orb though, and that's a good start.
It's going to be a good start, setting things up here. Queen able to move through, but not going to find itself a nice kind of fear there. Bit of damage after the pull through. Trade going to be there. Skywind ended up using the counter, but it's not going to cost him to yet. Excel Wizards slowly kind of falling behind in HP as we would expect. Orb control, though, goes in favor of Entropy.
Yeah, this is really big for Entropy. Now almost at a 30% HP advantage, and Skywind's taking a bit of damage. The Esmo shield is available, that Arcane Ward doing what it can, but now Older's in trouble, and he just doesn't have enough healing. Once again, down at 1 healing charge, and the aggression's not being let up. The Dead Roots is going to be available, so the Older ultimate is answered, and a sick freeze from the hero. They're going to just destroy Niwa.
Yeah, end up getting the freeze lockdown, and Excel Wizards trying to fight back as Skywind goes in with a nice thunderclap again going in, but the damage going to be their counter used as the freeze kind of cone of cold being thrown out. It's only a matter of time here. DeWizzle and Freya, normally if that was maybe a different composition, but between Freya and Esmo, that is not one that you can really kind of come back in those situations unless the HP was very, very close. And now it looks like Entropy nearly running away here with this game.
Yeah, this is looking really, really good for Entropy. I had a lot of question marks for this team coming into today. It kind of looked like they were going to be the solid last seed in their group, but they're really impressing me with this play. And seeing the hero flex off Jade, it warms my heart.
One thing, if I'm looking at Excel Wizards here, because I feel like mentally, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is, I view it as like my experience in past games where I'd be like in a best of 3, right? When I lose the first round, okay, I make an excuse, like I've got a reason for it. The second round, it's a little bit less of excuses. Third, I start going, okay, we really need to mix things up.
Right.
What is that going to be? It feels like it has to be aggression, and we're getting a bit of that here, at least for now, from Excel Wizards, but can you think of anything else that I'm missing out on?
No, they really just need that hard punish on the Thorn early. They need to burst down the Thorn while not taking too much damage, but honestly, just the comp makes it so hard. This comp is so good for Entropy. Excel Wizards, they get the orb, but they're still down 10% HP, and Niwa's getting caught out here.
Yeah, and he actually just burnt his space. He has nothing left, no shield, nothing after that pull in. That is going to be Thorn having a heyday, but he ends up using his ultimate, buying a bit of time with that time warp. Skywind coming in with that follow-up there in that thunderclap. They get the pull back in, but no kill yet. They're on to Alicia as she survives. DeWizzle buying a bit of time with the double spacebar burns, but this is the moment. Excel Wizards has a chance in this round.
Ooh, that M2 from Skywind actually knocking Pestilus out of the Chaos Grip. A little bit unfortunate, as that might have been able to get a big burst of damage, but Inflame just sitting back with his allies, and now they're healing up. HP pools are very even here, but the hero's within range of being burst.
Orbs coming up. Control already there with trees on that Thorn. Gonna claim another one for themselves. 2-1 so far. Skywind drops the counter. Not gonna get procced. Takes a bit of damage there after that burrow coming out from trees. But look at D-Wizzle on the backline, falling low, setting those resets. Spacebars, Ultimate gonna land from 2 onto 2. Another Thorn being dropped there from Thorns, and ends up dropping the Entangling Roots as well. Now the chase there onto D-Wizzle. Entropy looking cool, calm, and collected here in another round.
And they get another orb. The Thorn, of course, getting a little bit low, but not nearly as bad as the Older and Esmo. Things looking so dicey for the backline of Excel Wizards. The Older ultimate's going to be dropped, and they find the Pestilus, but the Ice Block is the answer. And that Barbed Husk, too, so much shields coming out from Entropy. Really like their team play here.
Yeah, and got to appreciate the communication that would go down on that, too, right? In that type of situation. I've got you, you've got him, and they set it up for the kill there. D-Wizzle ends up getting dropped here. The Mosquito has been squashed.
Yeah, they got the Fly Swatter out. They're going to hit him down. Older and Older split from his ally here. Going to be the last one in this fight now. And Entropy, they strike 4-0.
One thing in that last round that I really appreciate that we saw some from trees. It's not a mind-blowing kind of mechanic or anything revolutionary, but a lot of the play out of the Thorn we got last week, and I felt like one deciding factor from good to great, it felt like was use of the Barbed Husk, and then more so the canceling of the Barbed Husk, and who was using it for just that perfect iframe in the right situations. We got a minor one at the end there to buy a little bit of time, with the crowd control coming out, but I love to see that use from trees.
Yeah, and it's really important when you look at the Barbed Husk. It has that cleanse attached to it, as does the Ice Block. So something we didn't really touch on is that the comp of Entropy has a lot of cleanse available. The Ice Block can remove stuns, as can the Barbed Husk. Very important abilities here.
Match point here for Excel Wizards. If Entropy are able to take it, going to receive a panic there onto Esmo, forcing the directional shield out for a little bit. Double spacebar now necessary. Orb's going to be up. Excel Wizards need this one for themselves. They're going to claim it there.
They do manage to get that orb, which is absolutely massive. They committed a lot to it with that Chrono Flux. Niwa sitting on his ultimate nice and early this round. This is a huge turn from the last couple rounds, as he now has that extra out. But my god, the burst onto him is instant after that pull, and he is forced to ulti out.
Yeah, they got the burnt the spacebar. Their counter's going to pull the hero in, but nobody able to get that punishment. That's one of those situations where they're without the cooldowns. The hero able to hit at least an in cap, or excuse me, Skywind able to hit the in cap there onto the hero. But now here, the percentage still eking in favor of Entropy. Only about 2%, at least for now here. Still 8 seconds out from the orb, but the pull back there on to Niwa. That's a cooldown that he's going to wish he had for himself here in a couple of seconds. Pressure there. Orb goes, or excuse me, ultimate goes down from Esmo.
That Barbed Husk, though, negating all of that damage, and Excel Wizards get the orb. The ultimate from Molder going to be dropped, too, and it's not going to land on anybody, and the panic is going to land. Entropy's been able to reset, and they're healing up nicely now.
Nice block there on that Entangling Roots, forcing the spacebar on Niwa. We see the ultimate coming out from Thorn, trying to get the punishment, but Skywind has got something to say about that, coming with that thunderclap, but the bro is able to dodge it. Excel Wizards ends up picking up the orb for themselves. The hero a bit split for now in the 1v1 with D-Wizzle, but he's trading just fine.
Yeah, he missed that Chaos Grip, which was absolutely massive on an in-cap target. You gotta hit those, and even with the 4 orbs scored to 0, the HP pools are dead even. This next orb spawning in 4 seconds, this could be round deciding. If Entropy gets this, they might just steamroll the rest of this round.
Yeah, a nice setup there from trees to be able to hit the entangling into the pullback there. Oldurd's going to go ahead and use the time warp, forcing out a scarab use here from Pestilus. Pestilus are, not as, kind of flashy as some of the others, but, it still packs a pretty good punch.
Yeah, he's gross. He's not flashy. He's disgusting. Skywind jumping in, trying to find something. He gets a little bit of damage onto Inflame. The Dead Root's going to be committed for the orb. I love that play. It's a game of attrition here, and they get a big burst of damage on the Esmo. The HP pool now a difference of 30. This is really bad for Excel Wizards.
Sudden Death closing in, forcing the territory to be closer and closer here. Corridors, the skirmish between the squads. Oldur falling very low. Burrow coming out after that nice cone of cold there. We see the Oldur ult used, buying bit of time.
My god, Tree is playing so well this game. Another game-changing Dead Roots as they managed to find the kill on Niwa. There were so many people questioning Trees whether or not he was good enough to be here. This dude popped off this game.
And aptly named. Trees have fleas on the Thorn.
Put him on that Thorn.
Feel like it is right here. And with that play, not only that, but inflamed on the Pestilus, and the hero picking up something other than that Jade here in week number 2 of BPL. They find themselves with a clean 5-0 over Excel Wizards.
Yeah, man, you and I were talking about it before the broadcast. We were talking about the things to look out for with Entropy. It was comp. It was whether or not they would be able to flex off their comfort picks and look good, and they looked hot this game.
Yeah, I have to agree. It feels like that was very much a moment where we see a team perform and we go, this is, at least what we would expect from our kind of expertise on what we would like to see, bits and pieces for them to be able to improve. And I feel like they answered on every check, every question mark we had, they came out with an answer. And if anything, I feel like, it was color me impressed version of answers on every single one of those. Especially, again, Trees, as you talked about on that Thorn, was looking so very good.
Yeah, they didn't pass with a C grade. They were running with a hot like B+, A-. They looked very good. Trees, of course, popping off. I can't help but feel like Excel Wizards kind of drafted themselves into a corner, though. You really need some kind of character with self-sustain when you have that older on your team. You can't just run with an older and no sustain because he just doesn't provide that much healing. And Freya, she had shields, but she doesn't have any healing.
Yeah, it feels like, to me, Oldur is one of those, in a vacuum, maybe cross compares to every other support in like perfect situations, but like when it comes to can I support my team, because he has a lot of utility and a lot of capability, but it's like, but in practice, the realistic, the forgiveness of him as a character, the only time he is forgiving is when he's pretty much just putting time bombs on everybody, getting, quicksand value, and he's able to trade positively through his damage dealing, not through his individual sustain. And it's cool to be able to see that kind of war of attrition kind of take hold, and with that middle orb being able to provide a little bit of HP. It's always good to contest, but it becomes that much more dire with those compositions. To my brain, I view that as it's taking a win condition and closing in on it to a point where I would typically try and avoid that.
Right.
Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It forces you to play so heavily around that orb since you don't have enough healing. We saw them engage really hard when they needed the orb. We saw Skywind go in, and time after time he just got punished by trees, dead roots, and things like that. It just really put them their backs against the wall, and they just couldn't fight their way out of it.
Yeah, and in case anybody at home, you were wondering, you know what, I watched Trees on that Thorn, and